Hello again. This is Kevin Umstead with the Toledo Historical Swordsmanship Society. We are continuing our series on the polearm work of 16th century fencing master Joachim Meyer. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the specific handworks and techniques mentioned in Meyer's staff and halberd sections, along with some one-handed blows and thrusts. Let's get into it. Given that Meyer's work is meant to be viewed as a system, many of the handworks in the polearm section are presented elsewhere in the book. We are not going to cover every one. Instead, we will focus on the specific techniques that are directly mentioned in the staff and halberd sections. Poling, or Verzucken, is the action of drawing the staff back with our rear hand while letting it slide through your extended forward hand. This is an exceptionally deceptive tactic and allows you to remove your staff from presence very quickly while maintaining threat. Poling can be combined with other handworks such as the Durchwinden or changing through to create some very deceptive movements. Let's look at an example in a bit more detail. In this example, we find ourselves in Verzucken, while our opponent is in the underhut on the left. We start by thrusting straight in towards their face, paying particular attention for if they intend to knock our thrust away. As they start to rise up, we pull the staff back and change through underneath, stepping towards our right, and completing the thrust on the other side. If they try to strike out this second thrust, we can simply pull again and thrust back into the original opening. To perform a jerk, or Rucken, we strike into our opponent's staff to knock it offline while maintaining our own central position. Meyer states that we should strike no further with our staff than into the Verzucken. It's very important that we do not strike out too far, or we could leave ourselves open. Jerks can be done from any posture and are exceptionally effective when our opponent is lingering in Verzucken, thrusting, or in some other extended position. Jerks can also be combined with other handworks, such as the Durchwinden, where we change through underneath and jerk their staff out to the other side. Let's take a look at a couple examples in a bit more detail. In this device, we both find ourselves in Verzucken with our staffs bound on the first division, or foible. We shove their staff aside with a sudden strong jerk, ensuring we do not send our staff too far out. We quickly follow this up with a thrust to their face. In the next device, we begin an underhut on the right while our opponent is in the Verzucken. When they thrust in, we strike out their staff towards our left with a jerk, ensuring that we don't go past Verzucken. Then, we thrust to their face with a step out towards our right before they can recover. Over or under our opponent's staff. This is done in two ways, namely winding with the point and winding with the butt. Both of these windings take place from a bind and generally take place in the second and third divisions of the staff. Windings can also lead into grappling, disarms, and wrenching. Let's take a look at a few examples of each type of winding. Meyer does not give us starting postures for this device from the 1561, so for simplicity let's assume that we are in underhut and our opponent is in the oberhut. They are going to throw a strike to our head from above. We rise up and catch their staff between our hands or on our third division. We step out to our left and wind the point over their staff and into their face. For this device, we begin in underhut. Our opponent is thrusting at our right side towards our face. As they are thrusting in, we step out towards our left side while winding our halberd over their staff, thrusting into their flank. In this example, we are in Verzucken, and our opponent is bound hard into our staff from the right. We want to set our bind into the second division, and shove our point into their face, with the goal of getting them to raise the staff up a bit. Once they have gone up, we can move towards them. We maintain our bind until we have wound the butt of our staff over theirs from our right, shoving their staff down and twisting our arms to strike them on the head. This device is similar to the previous one, but the bind is on the opposite side. In this example, we are in ground Verzucken, and we are bound hard onto our opponent's staff from our right side. We want to set our bind into the second division and shove our point into their face with the goal of getting them to raise their staff a bit. Once they have gone up, we can move towards them. We're going to maintain our bind and step through under the staffs with our right foot towards our left side, winding the butt of our staff over theirs from our left, shoving their staff down and untwisting our arms to strike them on the head. Wrenching is essentially forcing your opponent's weapon or body out of position. With the staff, we do this by winding and then applying pressure or rotation. This can be done with reversing, winding the butt of the staff between their arms or over some other body part, such as the neck or shoulders. Wrenching with the halberd is essentially the same as the staff, except we can utilize the blade as well to push or hook our opponent's halberd or body. Let's look at a few examples from each weapon. In this example, we are in ground Verzucken, and we are bound hard onto our opponent's staff from our right side. We want to set our bind in the second division and shove our point into their face with the goal of getting them to raise the staff up a bit. Once they have gone up, we can move towards them. We're going to maintain our bind and step towards them, winding the butt of our staff between and over their left arm. We then step and rotate our body, wrenching them towards our right. The setup for this is exactly the same as the last play. The only main difference here is that instead of winding the butt between their arms, we're going to wind it over their right shoulder, stepping our right leg behind their forward leg, and that would allow us to rotate our body and throw them over our forward leg. We begin in ground Verzucken. Our opponent thrusts at our right side towards our face. We quickly step out towards our left and place the halberd blade on their neck. We're going to step towards them again, letting the staff slide through our hands as we advance so we can get closer. Next, we step on their forward leg, which should make them fall. In this device, we find ourselves bound with our opponent. We send our staff somewhat over theirs and pull their halberd down away from them by locking the blades together. You can also rotate your body towards the right while doing this to wrench them out further. Next, we immediately thrust into their face. The round stroke is a very fast and powerful strike. If I'm being totally honest, it's rather difficult to explain the exact motion you do when executing a round stroke. I think the best way to describe it is to just go into a specific example right away. In this device, we start in ground Verzucken. Our opponent is in some posture, and as Meyer states, they will not work. We raise our rear hand, letting the halberd head drop down to our left, and we start to pull it around our head. As we're pulling it around our head, we use the rear hand to add additional momentum to the rotation. With this action, we step well out towards our left and cut down through their face from above. A recurring theme in Meyer's Polearm section is the use of one-handed actions, typically where you let go with the front hand and allow the weapon to swing around your body guided by your rear hand. Meyer has a few specific ones that he calls out, but there are other instances throughout the staff section. We will cover these additional one-handed blows in future videos, but for now, let's take a look at the brain blow and the crest stroke in a bit more detail. For the brain blow, we are bound at the foible. Meyer talks about essentially convincing our opponent that we are going to thrust, so that they are ready to counter thrust as soon as we leave the bind. Instead, we are going to bring our rear hand up and throw our staff backwards over our head with our left hand. We then release our left hand and step out with our left foot towards our left, sending a blow straight down from above with our right hand. This action is very similar to the round stroke, except we are letting go with our forward hand. Immediately, we pull our right hand back towards us and recover our left hand onto the staff. The crest stroke starts the same as the brain blow, where we are bound at the foible. We are going to reverse our rear hand on the staff, and then step out to our right with our right foot. With this step, our core is going to rotate, and we use that rotation to bring the staff around from below, palm away from us, and strike them on the head. Quickly pull the staff back to you, stepping back with your right foot, and re-establish your bind, returning to a standard grip. Meyer mentions that to facilitate these two strikes, you can first jerk out their staff or hinder them with other devices, and then rush to them with these strikes before they recover. For a one-handed thrust, we release the forward hand and rotate our rear hand palm up, while rotating our core to the left. Rotating our core and hand gives us maximum reach and better directional control. Once we are done throwing this thrust, we must immediately pull the staff back to us, or we leave ourselves overextended. Let's explore the example presented in the staff section in a bit more detail. For this device, we again are bound at the foible from our left, and our opponent will not work. We step with our right foot to our right side and thrust at their face. As we are thrusting, we release with our left hand and rotate our right hand to be palm up, and we also rotate our body a bit to the left. Once the thrust is complete, we will use that momentum to bring the staff around our head to our left side and striking towards their right shoulder with one hand. Meyer states that this blow and thrust shall be executed quickly, one after another, in combination. Immediately, we step back and recover the staff with both hands. In our next video, we are going to start discussing how to fence from each of the postures in turn, starting with the Oberhut or high guard. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.